Here's what you need to remember. Today, there are more than 30 U-2s in operational service filling a wider variety of roles than ever. In the later years of the Cold War, Lockheed proposed arming their high-flying U-2 spy plane with experimental long-range anti-ship missiles that would have made it a terror over the high seas. Had the concept been coupled with American efforts to field the U-2 aboard aircraft carriers, it could have offered the U.S. Navy a ship killer with a long scope and even longer range. When the U-2 first entered service in 1955, it brought with it an incredible jump in America's reconnaissance capabilities. Designed and built by Kelly Johnson's legendary team at Lockheed's Skunk Works in less than a year, the U-2 was capable of flying at altitudes higher than 70,000 feet, well beyond the reach of even the most advanced and capable Soviet missiles or fighters of the day. But it wasn't just incredible altitudes that made the U-2 special, in an era when aerial refueling had only recently become commonplace for fighter operations. The original U-2 design could cover 3,000 miles without the need for tankers, giving it incredible range and endurance for covert operations over enemy territory. The original camera mounted in the payload bay of the U-2 could capture images with a resolution of just 2.5 feet from an altitude of 60,000, but the U-2 has since seen a slew of updated equipment housed within its fuselage, from the most powerful optical sensors in the U.S. arsenal to some of the first line-of-sight data link systems. But with all the high-tech gear to grace the U-2 spy plane's interior, one thing the aircraft has never carried is missiles, but Lockheed had plans to change that. Earlier this month, America's varied, and largely successful, efforts to field the U-2 aboard U.S. Navy aircraft carriers as part of a push to eliminate the CIA's reliance on foreign airstrips. Pilots successfully landed and took off from the Navy's flat tops with multiple iterations of the U-2 under both CIA and Navy programs, but neither organization ultimately found the practical value in the difficult operations. In all, Lockheed built and sold some 104 U-2 spy planes between 1955 and the end of the latest production run in 1989, but the firm knew they could dramatically increase that tally if only they could find another good use for the unusual platform. The U-2 was already a proven performer with an existing production line. And despite being incredibly difficult to fly, there was good reason to look for ways to expand its operational uses. Some may have thought Gary Power's U-2 being shot down over the Soviet Union in 1960 would have spelled the end for the aircraft. After all, it was designed to fly high specifically to operate beyond the reach of Soviet air defenses, but the U-2's broad capabilities as an extended range, long duration, reconnaissance platform were too potent to ignore. Dubbed the 315B design, this new iteration of the U-2 would come with a second crew station, not unlike the two-seat U-2 training aircraft Lockheed already had in production. That second crew member would serve as a sort of radar intercept officer, not unlike the backseater in operational Navy fighters of the day like the F-14 Tomcat. The 315B U-2 would be armed with new and experimental, at the time, AGM-53 Condor long-range air-to-surface missiles to engage enemy warships at distances of up to 60 miles. The Condor missile utilized an electro-optical guidance system with a data link back to the aircraft that would allow the secondary crew member to literally guide the weapon into its target via remote control. The missiles could also be locked onto a target using this system, freeing up the crew aboard the U-2 to start scouring for other enemy ships. Eventually, the Condor missiles were intended to carry both conventional warheads and nuclear ones, which would have made the U-2 a potential nuclear attack aircraft had the 315B design and Condor missiles ever come to fruition. Unfortunately for Lockheed and for the Condor's designer, Rockwell, neither effort would make it into production. The U-2 spy plane would continue to find valuable uses for the U.S. Air Force extending all the way into the 21st century. Today, there are more than 30 U-2s in operational service filling a wider variety of roles than ever. Some have even been used as nodes in secure data links between the most advanced fighters the U.S. has to offer, the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, both of which come from the same Lockheed Skunk Works stable as the U-2 did itself decades ago.